So, welcome to Beyond the Strikes, and I'm delighted to say we're joined by Tabatha Watkins. Tabatha, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. How are you?
Yeah, really good. Thank you very much. And our first round is called From the Start. And first questions we've got for you are where did you grow up and how did you get into combat sports?
I grew up in a really small town in northern Michigan. It's called Grayling. So I had a very small high school. It's just a super small town. And before I moved downstate for college, I wanted to learn some self-defense. I had never really been outside of northern Michigan, and so I started jujitsu, and then I was always in sports through my whole life. So I was a competitor at heart, and it turned into a little bit more than just learning self-defense. I wanted to start competing, and then I was always a tomboy. I always like tried to be a tough kid, like wanted to be a ninja when I was little. So obviously got pulled into MMA from jujitsu, and it just took off from there. Like at the beginning, I never thought I would be a pro fighter. I was just like, oh, I just want to test my abilities, and it just grew from there. Now one day I know I'll be a world champion, and one day I'll fight in the UFC.
Yeah. And was it always always MMA that you kind of thought I'm going to get into this eventually, or did you have any other specific sport which you really wanted a career in?
I really just did jujitsu for self-defense. Like I had researched it a little bit and I felt like jujitsu is the best form of self-defense, especially for a woman.
Mhm.
Because realistically, like if I was to get attacked, someone's gonna take me to the ground. And I explain this every time that I teach self-defense to women is that I feel like jujitsu is the best for it because realistically I'm not gonna even as a trained fighter, I'm probably not gonna outstrike a man that's attacking me. So like it's going to go to the ground. You need to learn how to defend yourself with someone that's trying to overpower you. So that's why I chose jujitsu.
Yeah, I think, and when you watch those kind of early UFC with the Gracie in there and like overpowering all of these like huge guys, I think it's such a perfect choice. And can you remember the first MMA fight that you watched and you just thought, do you know what? I want to be involved in this.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely started watching like MMA more in when Ronda Rousey was like making her rise and stuff. So um seeing her is what got me into it more. But like my favorite fighter to watch and that I follow that inspires me the most that I hope to, be like and train with one day is Rose Namajunas.
Mhm. I mean, she's absolutely incredible. I think she's up there as one of the most technically gifted fighters ever. Like the stuff she does is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I literally cried when she knocked out Whaley. I cried.
It
I was like, "Oh
was,
my God, that's
yeah.
awesome."
I've spoken to fighters before, and one of the fighters we spoke to was really influenced by Rose in terms of the mantra she used. So she when she was at the end, she was like, "I am the best. I am the best." Is it something
Yeah.
you've ever looked to incorporate into your fighting?
I have actually over the last couple years, I really became pretty spiritual and like I had about I've what I say is like I had a really rough year. It was like my year that broke me down, and then after that, I had a year of like self-discovery and growth and like just learning how to love myself again and be aware of my abilities and not like let negativity break me down. And then the year after that was like my year of climbing, which was last year. So 2021 was like my year of climbing and uh like I thought it was going to be my year of winning, but it wasn't. It was my year to climb and to really be able to know what I'm capable of and see the bigger picture. And so I feel like this year is the year that, like I'll rise and I'll be victorious. I've really definitely developed that. I actually have my own kind of personal affirmation that I say. Because hers was obviously I'm the best, and she would say that, and her coach would say that, and that was her affirmation. Mine is I will rise.
Hmm.
So, like Batgirl's my name, so
Yeah.
like that type of thing. I made my last fight shirt, which I'm actually wearing. It says "Rise of the Bat," so like stuff.
Nice.
So that's mine is like I will rise. And I actually when I fought the Phoenix tournament, which I fought last year, that Phoenix obviously rise from the ashes. So I was like, rise. Like so I actually did my own little chant, like I will rise, which I took from like seeing how powerful that was for her, you know. So I definitely, that really touched me.
Yeah, and I think so I'm a big fan of Batman, so I need to get some of your merch at some point. So you have to let me know where I can get it from. I'll definitely be wearing that one.
Yeah, I'll
And,
definitely start developing more of it because right now it's just been like random fight shirts that I make when I fight. But now that I'm like contracted with Invicta and like really starting to be in the bigger stages, I want to actually develop my own merch and stuff. So I'll definitely let you know.
yeah, let us know. And I mean, Invicta is such a brilliant platform to be on. Like, I think it was such a shame you couldn't make the previous card. But is there any news on when we can see you back in the cage?
So I'm hoping that I spoke with Shannon before that card when we had talked about me not being able to compete on it, and it was sounding like we could run that matchup again on the next card. So nothing's confirmed, but I'm hoping March 9th for the next Invicta 46 that I'll be able to fight Katie Saul then. If not, you know, as soon, I think she knows that we're both ready, and as soon as she wants to put us on, we'll fight, you know.
Yeah, well, looking forward to that one. And you mentioned your fighter nickname. So where did this one come from? Because I can't think of any fighter nickname like it. So how did you come about getting this one?
So it's the beginning story wasn't much, but it's more of the story that I've developed throughout having this name that I think is powerful. And the beginning, it was just because like Batman's always been my favorite superhero, and I was like, so when I started training, I would wear like Batman shirts, and so my first coach was like, well, if you ever fight, you should call yourself Batgirl because you always wear bat. I kind of resemble Barbara Gordon in a way, you
Yeah.
know, like red hair and that kind of stuff. So but as I was like, you know what, you're right. So obviously my first fight, that's what I did. And I would always wear a bat shirt on my fight day. Like I have this whole process, but as I grew into fighting and just martial arts in general, it grew more into who I was. And like through all my trials and tribulations in my life, I've always felt like I'm not the type that needs to be saved. I save myself type of thing. And I actually have a tattoo on my leg. I have a whole Batgirl piece, but above that, I have a quote that says, I am the hero of the story. I don't need to be saved. So it's more of that for me. Like that part of me is the part of me that will never, no obstacle is ever too big. Like I will always push through, and I will always, you know, fight any demon that's in my way, you know, and I'll be successful and I'll find victory. So that's the deeper version of the backstory of my nickname.
Yeah, I love it. And do you have a favorite Batman movie?
That's a tough one. That's a tough one. So I would say one of my favorites for sure is The Dark Knight with um Heath Ledger Joker. That's obviously a
Yeah.
staple in the Batman movies. I'm super excited for the new one. I
Oh,
honestly think the new
yeah, I honestly can't wait. It must be out pretty soon now.
I think March 2022. Yeah, I'm pretty excited because that's been a suspenseful one since they released it like what, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. So, yeah, I really think that that one's going to be the best one to date.
Yeah, it looks absolutely incredible. And I always think with those sort of films, like the movies are usually only ever as good as the villains. And from what I've seen of the villains in these ones, I think it's a Riddler in this one and Penguin, and like they look pretty good, I have to say.
Yeah, and they really captured more of like the Arkham dark style
Mm.
of Batman, and like part of like you watched the trailer probably, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So the part where he's like beating up the guys and he's like, I am vengeance. That's like one of my favorite parts. How they really made Batman be like what he was in the comics, you know, like Christian Bale Batman was good and all, but he wasn't like what Batman is, you know what I
yeah.
mean?
I
But
do.
what's your favorite Batman movie?
Oh, do you know, I think it's hard to look past the Christian Bale ones because I just think as an actor, he's absolutely incredible. Um,
Yeah.
but I kind of fell in love with Batman with the like the 80s ones.
Yeah.
Like they were absolutely brilliant movies. So I mean Michael Keaton, I love all Batman really. And do you play the games? Do you game at all? Have you played the
Um
Arkham Asylum games?
I never got big into it, but I definitely played some of the Batman Arkham games. I played Origins. I've really what's the new one? I almost seriously bought a PS5 just to play the new Batman Knights one because it has Batgirl in it. I was like, I have to have this game. Like, it looks sick. And I think it's really cool that it's all the sidekicks that actually like take over. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, honestly, it looks absolutely amazing. I think I'm lucky enough to have a PS5, so I think I'll be investing in that one.
Yeah, you have to, man. You have to.
So the next round of questions we have for you is called our hypothetical round. And
Okay.
the question we have for you is you can only watch one fighter's past and future fights forevermore. Which fighter do you pick? And I think based on what you were saying earlier, I might know the answer.
Yeah, it's Rose Namajunas for sure. I feel like stylistically I'm similar to her anyways. I've actually been told that before.
Mm.
My coach has told me that before, that just like my demeanor and my style reminds him of Rose, and that, you know, like one day he thinks I'm capable of that, and like that really meant a lot to me. And then I cross trained with Tisha Torres from occasion, and so the last time I trained with her out in Colorado when we were grappling, she was like, "Your jujitsu reminds me of Rose," and I'm gonna fangirl out here for a minute because she said your jujitsu really reminds me of Rose, her jujitsu, and I was like, "Wow, thank you! Like that's crazy." And then like after I left that training session with her and went back to where I was staying, like an hour later, Rose Namajunas followed me on Instagram, and I was like, "This is amazing! This is crazy!" Like I was like, "Holy crap, she follows me! This is nuts!" Like, so I knew that Tisha had to say something to her. She wouldn't have just followed me, you know. So that was super cool. But yeah, I wouldn't. I already study her fights, so that would be who I'd pick.
Yeah, I mean, it is very special when you have someone like that. Like she's incredible, really. She's one of the most interesting fighters as well, just outside of the cage. She's so yeah, she's like an enigma, really. And you just can't stop watching her. And then inside the cage, like you say, her technical ability is absolutely incredible. And
That's
like we've had fun watching your fights. So we saw the armbar finishes, and like the technical
thank you.
ability in that one was in both of them were incredible. If you were describing your fight style to someone who hasn't seen you fight, how would you describe it?
Well, currently it's hard to even people haven't seen what I'm at currently. Like I was off for 2 years before I fought in the Phoenix tournament, and I only had 5 minutes to showcase what I had. And unfortunately, the style of the tournament was basically you just got to win 5 minutes. And I fought Jessica Dalboni, and I don't know if you know any of the backstory of that, but she was trying to win the tournament to fight my best friend and teammate Alicia Zapatella again. So she actually, it was fan voting to be able to pick the first matchups in the Phoenix tournament. So she actually had like all of her fans vote to fight me as like, I don't know, some kind of vengeance thing against Alicia. Um, but you know, like it was, I don't know if you watched it, but it was a little bit of striking. She didn't do much on the feet with me. She timed my kick, took me down after I kicked her. I put her in danger for like 3, 4 minutes on the ground, and then she got out in the last like 15 seconds and threw some like light ground and pound. They gave her the decision for the 5 minutes. So I really didn't get to showcase what I'm capable of. I got to show that my jujitsu is is slick. You know, I'm
Mm.
a good grappler. I'm a purple belt. I've been a purple belt for 2.5 years. So um but everyone already knew that. I was trying to show more of my striking and my movement and just my how high my fight IQ has gotten. So that's why I was really looking forward to getting my first official fight in Invicta and being able to just showcase what I've become. I feel like I'm a very solid striker, and my grappling has only gotten better. I
Mm.
actually uh, started training jujitsu out of a different school. I'm an assistant coach at an academy that my boyfriend owns, and he's a black belt. So training with him every day for the last like 7 months. You know,
It's
my
a proper
jujitsu has
MMA family. I bet you guys just talk about MMA all the time.
skyrocketed. So I'm just excited to be able to really showcase. But I feel like I'm really well rounded. Alicia was my training partner for years. We still train together, and she's one of the best wrestlers in the world. So I have good wrestling, you know. So I'm just excited to showcase that.
Yeah, well, we can't wait to see it. And so, final round for you today is our quick fire questions. So we're going to give you two options and just want the first answer that comes to your mind. Comes to mind. Ready?
Yep,
Okay. So striking or grappling,
grappling.
Alfred or Robin,
Oh man, I'll say Alfred.
Fighting for $1 million or fighting for the title?
Title.
A KO win in the first 5 seconds of a fight or a KO win in the last 5 seconds of a fight?
KO in the last 5.
Christian Bale or Michael Keaton?
Oh, that one's the hard, man. Oh man, I have to go Christian Bale.
And then final one, Bane or the Joker?
Gotta go Joker.
Yeah, nice. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you today. It really has. And as we say, we can't wait to see you back in the cage. You've got fans in us, so we'll be supporting you from London. And
Thank
yeah,
you.
hope you have a brilliant day and hopefully speak to you soon.
Definitely, yeah. Thank you so much for having me. I love that we got to talk about Batman stuff as well, and I would love to be. So, thanks for being a fan, and thanks for wanting to talk with me.